shared that with everybody today.
You did,
Yeah,
I know,
that's on-
you even shared it with the auditor.
Now, the council
I
has
did.
decided
Somebody
to
did.
emulate
This comes with me.
Ryland and where everybody's wearing.
It's 7 o'clock, I'm calling the meeting to court, order, whatever it is. It is a welcome to Trophy Club. All of you who may be online and those who are present, we thank you for being here and being with us as we continue doing the business for your town, a great place to call home. We do have a quorum. It is October 27th, even though Ryland is sitting down. We're here. Good for you, Ryland.
Yes, indeed.
October the 27th, and it's 7 o'clock, and we would like to call to order this meeting, and we will open it with an invocation by Reverend Catherine Tang.
Thank you, Mayor Tiffany. Let's pray together. Gracious God, as we gather here today, we seek your guidance and wisdom in our discussions. Ground us in the sacred duty of governance. As members gather in these council chambers, infuse each heart with the steadfast dedication to serve our city's people. We pray that no distractions disrupt, nor idleness loom over this respected assembly. Rather, empower us with focused attentiveness and disciplined action to spearhead meaningful progress. May your wisdom be our guiding lighthouse. Help us to make decisions that are just and beneficial for our community. May we embrace compassion and diligence in our deliberations, and may our actions reflect the needs of those we serve. We trust in your direction and ask for strength as we navigate the challenges before us. We pray all these things in the name of those whom we are called to serve. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor
The Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. And Ms. Dixon, do we have any speakers?
No, ma'am.
No speakers?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So what we want to do is take this moment as the community highlight, and I would like to say that we're going to recognize the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is observed every October to emphasize the importance of early detection, provide support to those affected, promote research, and raise global awareness about breast cancer. The month serves as a reminder of the value of education and the role of community efforts in combating this disease. Breast Cancer Awareness Month began in 1985 as a week-long campaign organized by the American Cancer Society and Imperial Chemical Industries. Did you know that? To increase awareness about mammography. Due to its impact, the campaign quickly expanded into a month-long event. The pink ribbon that many wear, introduced in 1992 by Estee Lauder and Self magazine, has since become the universal symbol of breast cancer awareness. Today, the campaign is dedicated to education, advocacy, and showing solidarity with everyone affected by breast cancer. We extend our full gratitude to the fire department, to Chief Wise and his people, for their commitment to supporting Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We recognize and honor our Trophy Club residents who are survivors of breast cancer, as well as those who are currently battling the disease. We lift you up in prayers for healing and recovery. May God bless you, and may God bless Trophy Club. And Chief, would you come and do the honors, please?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council.
Yeah, if you've run across any of our members this month, you'll notice that they're proudly displaying the pink shirts today. Members of the fire department are wearing those pink shirts as part of that Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And just to reinforce what the mayor said, was it's an initiative to show support for those in our community who have been affected by breast cancer, and to help raise awareness and early detection, and for continued research. And it's a small, meaningful gesture on our part to stand with our residents, our families and coworkers, and who have fought or are fighting this disease currently. So it's our way of saying that we stand behind the community, and thank you for allowing us to do this tonight in support of those that need it. So,
Well, we thank you. I'm making a collection. This is my number 2.
yes, ma'am. And also, so we've been doing this for several years. It's not our first year. And also in other jurisdictions, other fire departments, they proudly wear those same shirts.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think it'd be fun for the council to turn their back to the back. And Jason, would you stand in front of us, facing the camera? And
Okay.
I would like for our team to join you somehow.
Let's get a good view of those bald spots.
Yeah. This is your opportunity.
I'm the youngest, so I can say that.
Try to,
What do you think
let's
about
get
this?
closer in where,
Jill, does this work? Does it work, Jill?
Get up there?
oh, this is good, I don't have to suck in my gut.
We'll just get on. We're in the way.
Okay, all right, here we go. You're not gonna do it?
Well, I think we're in the way.
You think,
You're fine.
They won't see it.
okay, all right, okay, here we go.
Yeah, Jason, go.
You don't have to smile.
And say. Left.
Yeah, yeah.
One more.
Yeah.
There you go.
Have them turn around.
Oh, yes, and then how about y'all turn around?
No, just.
Oh, hello.
Now you gotta turn.
Now I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
suck in my gut, okay.
Hold on.
Oh, he's wearing the.
Yeah, we were gonna,
Oh,
no, turn around.
Chin up.
here, no, Mr. Flynn, turn around, we can photo.
He's showing his best side.
Mr. Flynn, there we go.
There we go. Got it.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. Didn't communicate that very well.
You know, this is just one more thing our first responders do for us, and I hope, I know that some of you were able to attend the Rotary event on Saturday recognizing the first responders, so I want to take this opportunity to say thank you again for keeping us safe and protecting us and being our friends. We appreciate that. It creates a strong community for us. Thank you. Update from town council members. Anybody? Steve? There you go.
Mayor, let me jump into what you started on the Rotary and give a little more background to that. So while it is a Rotary event, it certainly does impact this town, and the town was actively involved, as they always are. We have a couple of Rotary members up here, as well as Chase providing support for the event with chairs and tables and all the things they do. And it further supports our police department and our fire departments. They recognized a first responder of the year for both fire and police, and they were given a whole big, wonderful package of stuff, if you will, that was given and donated, which was great. But more importantly, the Rotary, all of the donations they get go towards scholarships for people who live in our community. These are first responders, kids in our community, either in high school or in college, who are the beneficiaries of those funds. So it was a great event. We got around the rain somehow, some way, and this was the 6th year, and look forward to doing it again, and the town supporting it.
Great event. Someone else? Anybody else? Any comment? I will just announce that beginning Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Brandon Wright, our town manager, and Dennis, our council person, and myself, we will be attending the Texas Municipal League Conference, which will be going on for 3 days, and it will be in Fort Worth, and we're going to be looking at water. We're going to be looking at legal stuff. We're going to be hearing things about leadership and the community. I look forward to the opportunities to learn and help us to continue growing and being the best we can. All right, any other comments? Anybody? Go for it, Mr. Wright.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. Few updates for you, for the public as well. First of all, is that early voting continues Voting for the November 4th, 2025 election, early voting is available through Friday, October 31st. For more information about times and locations, you can visit the Town of Trophy Club website. You can also go to the Denton or Tarrant County websites as well for that. We are having a fire station open house on November 1st at the fire station from 10 a.m. until 12 o'clock noon, or I'm sorry, till 2 o'clock p.m. Come and tour the Trophy Club Fire Station with a fun-filled event with the whole family. It's the open house. Let's see, meet your neighborhood firefighters, check out our firefighting equipment, tour the station, and learn how you can help in an emergency. So there'll be activities, prizes, and refreshments for everyone who attends, and it is a free event. We are also very happy to announce that our pickleball courts grand opening is coming up here soon on Tuesday, November 4th at 10 a.m. Join us at Harmony Park at the grand opening for the new pickleball courts. The special event will feature a ribbon cutting ceremony with town officials and community members as we celebrate the addition of this exciting new amenity. Also, we do have a movie night coming up on Friday, November 7th at 5 o'clock at Harmony Park. So join us for a movie in the park that evening, 5 to 7 again. Bring your blankets, chairs, and friends to enjoy this free, family-friendly event under the evening sky. While we are showing a movie, I can't tell you the name of the movie because we have the rights to show the movie, but we don't have the rights to use the name of the movie. So,
This is where we start doing charades.
but at the very end, actually on my things that says, enjoy a night that's sure to be popular. That's a hint for what the movie is, but anyway, you'll have to figure that one out. If you know it well, you know it. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't.
Someone asked me that the other day.
Veterans Day celebration will be on Tuesday, November 11th at 11 a.m. at the Veterans Memorial there at Independence Park. It's a great event where Trophy Club residents thank the community members who have spent time defending the nation and the freedoms we enjoy. It's also a time to appreciate the sweat and blood of close to 20 million veterans who live and work in America today. So we're looking forward to that event on November 11th. And our upcoming board and commission meetings, the Ethics Review Commission will be meeting on Tuesday, November 4th at 6 p.m. The Zoning Board of Adjustment will be meeting on Thursday, November 6th at 6 p.m. And then our next town council meeting will be on Monday, November 10th at 6 p.m. We do have a workshop that evening. And that is all that I have for this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Go for it, Dean. Thank you.
All right, so there are several policies being considered tonight, so I thought it'd be helpful to go back and look at the charter. These are the powers and duties of the town manager, and this is section 4.05 of the charter. One of the town manager's duties is to implement the directives and policies established by the council. So if folks are trying to figure out how this all works, council establishes policy. The town manager is responsible for implementing the directives and policies established by the council. And then there's also a provision that says that the town manager shall make recommendations to the council concerning affairs of the town and facilitate the work of the council in developing policy. Some policies are required by law, other policies are brought to you by the town manager for you to consider so that he can help facilitate the work of the council in developing policy.
Thank
Thank
you. Thank you. Okay, let's go for the next one. Tammy, please.
Consent agenda. This part of the agenda consists of non-controversial or housekeeping items required by law. Items may be removed from consent by any council member or making such a request prior to motion and vote.
Okay, we are going to remove from the consent agenda item number 7. Consider a resolution adopting the updated human resources policy, training and travel policy, and artificial intelligence policy. Removing that.
That'll just be for individual consideration. Yes.
Yeah, for individual consideration. So do I have a motion?
Mayor,
for the
I
rest
make a
of-
motion that we approve the consent agenda items number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, motion passes. So now we're going to take item 7 and immediately deal with it, and we're going to open it with Brandon giving us update.
Yeah, I'd requested the mayor to pull this item from the consent agenda for individual consideration, namely because one of the policies that you have there is the artificial intelligence policy, also known as the AI policy. This is a brand-new policy for the town for it, but we added some language after it had been added to the agenda, specifically around police department AI efforts. There are certain tools that police departments use in the investigations of crimes and things like that that utilize AI software, and it is permitted by state law. It's all within the new AI policy or law that the state has passed. With that, we wanted to make sure that the language in our policy wasn't to be confused with the language at the state policy, that ours was somehow more restrictive than the state policy with that. So we have clarified the language that it is not more restrictive than the state policy. The state's law is what it is. The police department follows that law, and the wording now reflects to make sure it's clear that our policy is at that level. So that's, you have copies at your desk, and we are replacing the one that's in the packet with the one that is at the desk now for you on the AI policy. And that's all that I have on that item, Mayor.
Okay, any comment on this particular item before we go to the next? So,
Mayor?
on this artificial, you want to?
Oh, not on artificial, but on the whole thing, yeah, okay.
So any discussion on artificial? Y'all good with this? Then what we do have is some discussion on the policy itself. And so Dennis would like to put that forth, and we'll talk about it and determine if we want to
Right.
make a motion on this or whether we want to do it in workshop later.
Got it. The HR policies that you have tonight are very comprehensive, and my comments are not meant to avoid the ethics or the confidentiality of the requirements. The Human Resources Department is a very important part of our town, and so I'm being ideated as a elected official. The human resources policies are enforced by the town manager through the town staff. Elected officials should not be under that. There's 4 items in here, in these policies, the 180-something pages, that have the words elected official or town official. 1, travel. I have no problem with travel being there. That basically says how you're going to get paid if you travel on the town staff time. 2 is nepotism, and I have no problem with the words being in there because that's how staff is to treat nepotism. But I have an issue over 1, gifts, and 2, confidential information. They are covered under the conduct of Code of Conduct of Policy, page 96 of 403, and the confidentiality policy number, page 94 of 403. These items are covered in the ethics ordinance quite well and very specific. In the ethics ordinance, if you violate it, you go to the ethics board for judicial or whatever they're going to do about it.
And this is elected officials.
This is
what you're talking
elected
about.
officials,
Okay.
right?
Want to clarify.
So here, if it's in the HR department, then everything supposedly goes through the town manager. And so you have 2 different places. So 1, elected officials should, not that we're held to a higher, we're held to a higher standard for 1, but 2, we should have, the ethics should be our guide right there and our method of enforcement. So that's where I'm at, in just eliminating the words elected official from these 2 items.
Okay, I saw you.
don't know if I did that
you
right,
shake
but-
your head for a moment. Would you clarify what you're shaking your head about?
Sure, yeah, so just to make it clear, the town charter and all other ordinances are pretty clear on the idea that the council is responsible for governing itself, right? So staff does not have any purview over council members violating policies and somehow holding council members accountable for violating policies. That's a council decision. Council members, if policies are violated, council members can do things like censor members, things like that. That's kind of the council's tools, because even council members cannot remove council members, right? For things that aren't specified under there. So just to make that part clear, right? That doesn't go through the town manager and the HR director. It's still think of it kind of as like an overarching framework, right? There are policies that we try to live under. If they're violated, then they would follow its appropriate place. If it's staff, obviously that goes town manager, HR director, things like that. Council violations on that, it's up to the council to determine how it wants to deal with violations of policies at the council level.
Right.
So just to clarify
And
that.
I agree, no, I agree, thank you, and that's very good clarification. The other point I want to make is, I'm looking for one spot to look at to give me the guidance, not the whole town policy ordinance.
And you're talking about guidance for elected officials.
So, yeah,
why would
so
it
when
not go
ele-
in our rules and regulation?
Well, fine,
packet?
but see, in the rules of regulation,
It's
it
very
is there, basically, but it also refers to Article 1.05.004 or something like that. Oh, okay? So once again, it comes down to the ethics policy, which is an ordinance of the town.
Correct.
Just to make it simple, you're an elected official, you come in, read your handbook, read the ethics rules, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have a follow-up on that, actually, because, whenever you're elected and sworn in, you have a bunch of different things that you go through in terms of things you look at and things that you sign. And if you're new to the game, you do some of the training stuff, or we do it annually or whatever. My memory isn't perfect, but I don't know that in all the times I've been sworn in, I don't know that I've acknowledged these policies. So really, my question would be, what do we gain by having these policies reference elected officials at all versus leaving it separate since it's handled by multiple? If that wording wasn't in there at all, would that just limit the confusion or eliminate confusion rather, and we'd still be covered by all the other things we already have in place? Because these are policies that in writing say apply to us, but I've never read and acknowledged them, which is governance-wise, I should be reading and
absolutely.
acknowledging them,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, two things on that. First of all is that we've adopted a new vector solution software system that actually makes it a lot easier for us to be able to, acknowledge the fact that both staff and we put elected officials in there as well to receive and acknowledge receipt of all the policies and procedures and all the HR policies for that. That'll be one item, right? Because you're exactly right. When do you get a packet of the HR policies? And the answer is when you're hired. You guys don't really have a hire date,
Right.
so there's just a little.
I never filled out an I-9.
Correct, exactly. So
or
it's
anything like
just
that.
a little bit different when that happens with elected officials, part of it. So that part would be a little bit different. But then the question is, well, what's the benefit of kind of having there on this side of it? And it really comes down to expectations of the council, really, for even amongst yourselves, right? If there are things, and I agree with Dennis, a lot of these things are covered in other policies as well. The ethics ordinance, your rules and procedures manual, all establish certain versions of rules and ways of conduct that you're expected to act under. If you remove yourselves from these ones, I don't think that the world's going to end at all on that one. I think there are other policies and things that you can look to for violations. If someone is violating, for example, let's say we have someone who's not keeping information confidential. Right, okay, well, that should be confidential. Is it written clearly in rules and procedures somewhere that says that the confidential information, right, should be handled confidentially, shouldn't be given to the public and things like that? It just makes it a lot easier to work as the council to be able to correct members who step outside those lines.
Exactly.
When it's in other policies. So that's the benefit of it if it's not clearly identified somewhere else. So sometimes you will have the same idea replicated in several sections, just to make it a little bit clearer, and when it's written there for that point, I don't think there's a downside if you remove yourselves. I think the rules and regulations will apply to a lot. I also don't think there's any harm of having you in it either, because you as a group, you hold each other responsible for making sure that you're following these policies.
I think the confusing part for me, and I had a brief conversation with Dean, was some of this applies to employees only and staff. Some would apply to us, and it's a little hard to read this 180 pages and figure out
Yeah.
what specifically applies to council and what doesn't. So that's where I am still a little confused.
Yeah.
And here I am thinking I was the only one that read the 184 pages.
You're not. One of my comments, when I read this, particularly starting on page 17 or whatever it was, where it's so clearly outlined, I feel like a lot in here needs to be in our rules and regulations more explicitly outlined. I feel like our rules and regulations are very light when it comes to code of conduct, ethics, and such as that. Therefore, it does not give us the opportunity to help the council stay in our lane. And I would like to see us take some of this and integrate it into our rules and regulations.
I'll agree with
Yeah,
you on
we
that.
could do it that way, where
Yeah.
we kind of just.
And take
go
it away
back
from
and-
HR
Yeah.
and put it, it's very explicit in the ethics code, the confidential information in number 3, and then gifts and stuff in number 4, and nepotism in number, well, whatever. So I would like to make a motion that we approve the HR as presented with the deletion of the elected officials out of the 2 areas, code of conduct and confidential policy. And,
Just to clarify, is there any other places that it's referenced in the document other than those 2?
there's 4.
There are, yeah, but as he was mentioning before, go ahead. Yeah.
And I'll defer if I'm wrong to the 4 places, Denise. Or let me just put it this way, take elected officials out and let it go at that. But nepotism, it's mentioned, but that's mainly for telling staff not to hire a relative of a council person, if I can word it that way. So that's not a big deal to have elected officials in that paragraph. In travel, it tells you how council people will be paid travel, just like any other employee. So it's not a big deal to me to have elected officials in how to get travel pay.
I guess I'm maybe where the mayor is. I'm of the opinion, let's take it out completely, but address it, to Jeanette's point, because what we have right now is not beefed up enough. So use these 4 areas. I'm not disagreeing with any of them, but it gets a little complicated when you got 1 or 2 that
Just, yeah, take
apply,
them over there.
apply to council members, and they don't apply over here, even though they could. To me, it's just too confusing.
Councilman, can I amend my motion to delete elected officials from the HR policies? Okay? And
second.
then,
You're gonna say-
is that, no? That's a,
Well, Dean's looking at the sky.
I think we'll figure it out. Yeah.
okay.
You know what we're,
Okay.
you know what
I
we're
think we're
getting
okay.
at.
I understand.
All right, but that's
think
the
we understand
motion
the
to
intent.
approve
It
this,
make it a little
right?
bit, the details make it a little bit.
With
particular, but-
the reference to elected officials being taken out. And then the mayor can make a motion to add a workshop later on. But that's my motion.
Well, yeah, well, I think what might be done, kind of going along with what I think has been said here, is that you would rather have these types of policies that are applicable to council members directly addressed in the Rules and Procedures Manual.
correct.
We can bring you back a revision of we'll just bring you back a revision of the
Yeah.
Rules and Procedures Manual that takes some of these elements that we remove and puts them into that Rules and Procedures, and then have you adopt that one separately.
Good.
For it. And then I don't think we need a workshop on it necessarily. I don't think we're arguing over the content here. It's about where it's placed.
It's just
Right.
transferring. it
Correct,
to
exactly.
the
So let's just get it over in the right place
And
for it.
and also, we then have one document to look at, not 3 or 4.
Correct, yeah. That's fine.
Yeah,
I think you just shot down your workshop, Mayor.
Good,
You know how you
that's
love
good.
work.
I think we just completed the workshop
did-
in the discussion of the motion.
I did that for
Second.
Mylan, so he wouldn't have to have a workshop. Okay, so the motion?
The motion is to approve, subject to the deletion of elected officials from the document.
Second.
And
Are you-
that is my
Ryland's
second.
going to
Yes, ma'am.
second. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? Well, that was easy. Doing. Motion passes. Thanks. Let's go to the next item, please. Tammy?
Item 10, first reading, consider resolution approving the Grace Development Thrive Business Grant application and authorizing the town manager to negotiate and execute a performance agreement with the grantee in the amount of $20,000 as recommended by the Trophy Club Economic Development
I
Corporation.
think you jumped on
Oh, yeah, I
Hey,
think
John.
item
it's
10.
number 9.
No,
Oh,
not.
sorry.
That's fine, you can skip number 9.
Consider,
Dennis
I
approves
skipped on all
anyway.
these, my apologies.
Or we could go ahead and do 10.
Item
and
number
then go to-
10, consider acceptance of the small area plan for the Grove at Trophy Club.
Okay,
Except for that's
so,
item 9.
Yeah, it's
Item
nine,
nine.
right? Item number 9.
okay, Brandon will speak to this,
There we go.
please.
We are on item 9, and that is the small area plan, also known as the Grove at TC, for it. So this has been a project that we've been had under development now for about a year. We met with the council several weeks ago to review the draft, or the first version of it, and you'll remember at that point, council had several concerns, and so we went and ultimately conducted a joint workshop with the Economic Development Corporation for the purposes of fine-tuning some of the recommendations in there to make them consistent with some of the public feedback that we heard, as well as the council's desires for that. So While these were essentially the final edits. First of all, that we referenced, anytime that we're referencing residential in the document, it is specifically talking about owner-occupied residential dwellings for that. So we're not talking about rental properties and things like that. We're talking about owner-occupied properties only. So that's been clarified all the way throughout the document consistently. Also that we wanted to kind of have a message to the readers and developers up front that just kind of made all these points clear, right? Based on the conversations, so in the beginning of the document, there was a message to readers section. We did change the photo of the council as well. It's now replaced with, I believe, some people golfing, so.
Represents.
It's great for us. And then edited references to green space to be thoughtfully integrated into development. Essentially, the green spaces should not be standalone park-like areas, but instead integrated into more the commercial development areas and to be, something that is going to assist with the success of the commercial area of the Grove at TC for it. So we've made those changes throughout the document. There are many of those. So there's the picture of the golfers right there. The message for readers is up front. Anytime that, and we kind of went through the entire document, anytime that it referred to residential, we made sure that it was owner-occupied residential. When we talked about the community spaces, you can kind of see maybe on that first key themes section there. The first one, integrate space thoughtfully into the commercial development opportunities, right? It's kind of this idea that the open space is meant to complement the commercial development for it. So throughout the document, we did that many places for it, and ultimately this evening have it back to you for consideration based on all of those changes. So, thank you.
Okay, we'll open for discussion. Anybody comments?
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've had several comments over many meetings, and I will I don't want to reiterate those, but I'll stand by them. I'll be voting no on this. Any reference to residential, whether it be owner-occupied or whatever, to me is another way of wording apartments, and I can't do that. Thank you.
Okay, other items, other
Yeah,
discussion?
Mayor, I'm going to support it. I hear what Dennis is saying, but as we said before, what we're approving here, what we're supporting is a template. It is not hard and fast. It is not set in concrete. We may have part of this be residential. Maybe they don't. We're just giving something to developers to develop. And so I think the more we limit that, the less likely we're going to be to have a developer consider the whole project. So I support it.
Okay, other comments? Anybody?
Yeah, I'll add, I wanted to give thanks to our staff, EDC for iterating on this, our neighbors who've come in and given us input a handful of times as well throughout this process. I am equally as opposed to apartments as Dennis is. I think the addition of owner-occupied language here helps us with that. Ultimately, whatever gets developed will be before a P&Z commission and a council in one piece or multiple pieces in 2, 5, 10, 12, however many years, and those folks may or may not choose to adhere to our concerns today or what's in writing here, but unequivocally, without question, to paraphrase Jimmy Johnson, put it in 3-inch headlines, I will not vote for apartments in Trophy Club. I'm not against apartments. I'm against voting for what the people clearly don't want in Trophy Club, and I'm with them on that. Aside from that, I feel like we've taken care of some of the other concerns that we had. And so, I appreciate the iteration and the thought that everybody's put into it.
Other comments? Anybody? Jeff? Stacy?
Nope, good. No, ma'am.
Gary?
Nope.
I will also vote yes, because I believe that the opportunity is great for this town. And again, I go with Ryland. All of us sitting up here may not be here when this gets going out there. I just want to let you know that. So, but it's a great opportunity for us to continue offering to people an opportunity to live in Trophy Club, because again, people want to live in Trophy Club. They want to live here because we offer a quality life. We offer family. We offer parks. We offer living. And we need the opportunity for people to come into Trophy Club at 11, which they can get here and continue to contribute to this town. I don't know what this is going to look like, but I will say this. If we dumb down a site plan, we're not going to get developers. I'm just telling you, because they are developing all around us. And for those of us who put our foot down about mixed use. Right across the street, they're getting ready to build up 70 mixed-use flat stacks.
Stack flats. Yes.
Flat stacks. So we're not the only ones looking at ways to enhance our town for living. Just be aware of that. So we have an opportunity to do something great. Go.
I was going to make a motion if there's no more
Okay.
comments.
Go for
Okay,
it.
I move to approve the small area plan, the Grove at Trophy Club as presented.
Second.
All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? Okay, you're opposed, Stacy? So Stacy's opposed and Dennis is opposed. So that's 2. Okay. Get that? Motion passes. Thank you. Next item.
Items again. Item 10, first reading, consider resolution approving the Grace Development Thrive Business Grant application and authorizing the town manager to negotiate and execute a performance agreement with the grantee in the amount of $20,000 as recommended by the Trophy Club Economic Development Corporation. Did you want to present first, or do you want me to do this? Last time she presented and then we did the readings, or do you want to do it on the second?
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, I'll do the presentation. Sorry. So the item, this is Tamara's item, by the way.
Who's on first?
I'm filling in
Yeah.
exactly for her this evening, but
I know you can do it.
I can do it, exactly,
I
yes. Yeah. So Grace Development, so the Economic Development Corporation has the Thrive Business Grant. This is the grant that provides up to $20,000 of grant dollars available for businesses in Trophy Club to make improvements to their properties. This can be things like equipment, facade, it can be, whatever expansion of what they need to be able to expand their business for it. And we've had many businesses take advantage of this so far. In the second round, we've already approved to one company, Jolly Orthodontics received one. The Economic Development Corporation had asked for some review to review the information that was submitted by Grace Development for it. And Grace Development is the one that has Vinnie's and Christina's over there, the villages at Trophy Club for it. So the Grace Development ended up coming back and revising their proposal to include concrete repairs in the rear of the building. So essentially that whole drive area behind the building, for it, all the concrete back there being replaced and repaired. They also have some stormwater issues back there as well that cause problems to flooding in businesses and things for it. And so they've incorporated that into the development for it. So that's the grant that was put forward. I think it's about a $60,000 or $70,000 project overall. Therefore, and it's a 25% match. So the $20,000 match on the town side is the maximum that would be available to them for that project, even though it's not quite 75-25 on it.
We have a motion?
I need this, there's no action on this
Oh,
item?
there is no
Provide the
action. We
first
do a
reading?
motion on the next one, though, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay.
First reading, a resolution of the Town of Trophy Club, Texas, approving the Thrive Business Grant application and authorizing the town manager to negotiate and execute the performance agreement with the Trophy Club Economic Development Corporation and the grantee and approving an effective date.
Okay,
Any discussion, Jeff?
well, do we want
There's-
a motion?
Well,
We'll go to item 11, second reading.
Yeah.
Consider
that
resolution.
was it.
We have to read
You
it
have to read it
twice.
twice.
By state law.
Okay, got it.
It's state law.
Oh, no. Okay, go
So
ahead.
you'll hear me say this 2 times. Consider resolution approving the Grace Development Thrive Business Grant application and authorizing the town manager to negotiate and execute a performance agreement with the grantee in the amount of $20,000 as recommended by the Trophy Club Economic Development Corporation. Second reading, a resolution of the Town of Trophy Club, Texas, approving the Thrive Business Grant application and authorizing the town manager to negotiate and execute the performance agreement with the Trophy Club Economic Development Corporation and the grantee, and providing an effective date.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
You want to read that again?
Item number 11 has been read 5 times, I think.
I just wanted to be sure we had that.
Second.
Dennis seconds that. All those in
Wait,
favor?
I'd like to have some discussion on the item. For starters, do we have the applicant here?
No, we don't.
Okay, okay, so that area, that development was, if I'm remembering correctly, roughly 25 years old, that development, right? At least. 1999, 2000, probably, timeframe. Do we know how long Grace Development's owned the property?
I don't know right now.
No? Do we know if there have been parking or parking/drainage repairs made to the property in the 25 years prior up to today since it was developed?
And I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I only ask these questions because some of y'all who haven't heard us discuss these items before, but I know the council has and staff has, is that I don't agree with the premise of this program at all, because it's basically just come ask for money and we give you money. I think it's a misuse of sales tax funds, and I think the purpose for establishing our EDC 4B is pretty clearly stated to try and increase the overall amount of our sales tax revenue by reinvesting that money, not to simply offset costs. I think what we're doing here, and we've done it a couple times before when we've approved similar grants to this, is we're basically giving a property manager money to help pay for upkeep of their asset, which they are going to make money on when they ultimately sell it. And this property may have changed hands a handful of times since it was developed. I don't really know. But we certainly can all agree that it's appreciated a great deal in the quarter century since it's developed. So why do they need $20,000 of public money to make a concrete repair? Anyway, it's my hope that hopefully in out years, we can collaborate with the EDC to sunset this program and start to try to swing for the fences with our EDC programs a little more, rather than just, minor cash outlays to basically give away money for people that can't even be bothered to show up to ask for it and answer my questions. So for that reason, I'll be voting no.
Okay. On the flip side of that, I was in Knife and Fork the other night, and they used their money to totally redo their seats, and it's really, really nice. And that restaurant was full. That was Friday night. They were completely booked. And so at some level, that is nice, because it's great to go in there and for them to say thank you, which they did. And it's the same true as Jolly, because they too have increased their business by adding the new chair and so forth to their business.
Do we track that increased
Well-
sales tax revenue when we do these? So if we give somebody $20,000, what's the ROI?
That's
Right on.
Yeah, you can't really attribute, you can't really attribute directly, right? I do think it's important when we talk about these things, and obviously we'll have an opportunity to really talk about the gist of the program in a more opportune time, but, Fish and Knife, for example, that's operating expenses on what everyone knows is an extremely low-margin business to be in, which is the restaurant business, which is, I still don't necessarily agree in principle with the idea of it, but, it's easier to understand than this, which is literally property management, which is literally get a loan, sit back, pay the loan, watch the property increase in value, and then sell it one day.
Because honestly, if we are going to, I would far rather them would have taken that money and made the facing look nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Upgrade the signage out there for their development, which would have been nice. So,
We
but
did
it's already done.
grant-
It's
we-
a done deal.
We did approve a grant last year, or the council did, I don't believe I was in favor of it, but the council did for facade improvements.
For painting and for,
But they wouldn't do it.
some of some repairs and cleanup of like repainting lines and things like that in the parking lot in the front, yeah.
Yeah, they chose not to do that. Okay, we go back to this motion. So do we had a
Motion
second.
on the
We have
floor.
discussion. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? 2 opposed, 5 in favor. Motion passes. And I am going to adjourn at 7:44. Like that. I'm so happy.